get showcased.
He pops up. Welcome to Showcase Pod. I am live in the studio, the 1776 studio, myself and the Showcase Pro Wrestling YouTube champion, the Bionic one. Dan, how else? That looks pretty good on you.
Yeah, it does, huh? Nice fit.
Well, that being said, we are waiting for Don Vega. We sent the limo, the Uber, the Lyft to find him. He is not in the studio. We are expecting him to join any second now. But with that being said, Danny, a lot of good news coming up, a lot of announcements, a lot of news nationally that we can get through right now, too. So before Mr. Vega gets on, you saw an article today. Did you see the cryptic NWO message that came out during the weekend?
I didn't know, but it was Mr. Vega now.
Well, that's actually pretty good for him.
So it's Don Vega. What up, brother? We are live.
We're live already?
Yeah.
Danny just couldn't wait because once he put that belt on his shoulder, he jumped in and hit the button. Can you believe that?
What's that?
Once he put that belt on his shoulder, he jumped in and he hit the control button quick.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Oh.
He jump-started the podcast because he thought he was defending it.
I mean, this is an ongoing thing with Daniel.
What, jump-starting?
Yeah, jump starting. Spilling the pot.
Not this week.
Quickly.
Not this week. I didn't. So.
Don't worry, Dad. The week's not over.
Yeah.
Oh God! All right. So, Chris Blackheart, you did the opening today.
I did. I did a phenomenal opening. I put Danny over. Danny hasn't been that over in like 2 decades.
Okay. All right. So
he hasn't been that over since Mr. Biggs was doing the booking.
All right. Okay. So another live edition of the Showcase Pod in this week. We got events coming up this Saturday night back in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena, 126 Main Street in Woonsocket. You talked about that already, Chris Black?
No, we couldn't. We literally just popped on the air. Danny was flexing the belt on his shoulder.
All right. That's why he wanted to not wait, huh?
I think that's he goes, we're going to wait 2 minutes, and then he hits the button.
Yeah, we were waiting 2 minutes, and that's what I thought we were doing, and,
Well, I told him, we were sending the Uber, the Lyft, and the limo to you, and
apparently not, I guess.
Yeah.
So what's been going on, Chris Blackheart?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of news this week, and there's some local news that I want to touch on that I saw on Facebook. There's some national news, we saw with Hulk Hogan. Did you see that news?
Yes, we'll get into that. I seen some of that earlier this week, a couple of days ago. We could get into that as we move along here tonight on the pod.
Yeah, and then we have some Joel Davis news coming up. I didn't see everything. Did you hear what happened to Joel?
No, I didn't hear what happened to Joe. He sent me a video.
Let me see the message.
He sent me a video of his performance down in Texas. But I ain't really get into details of any happenings.
I think he has a show. Oh, actually, I screwed up my date. That was it. All right, so he had a show in Austin, Texas. It was actually last night.
Yes.
So Joel, I have not watched it. So if you are listening, Joel, send over the clips. And we'll watch it. And again, Joel has some news coming up I think we have to have some conversation off the air because I don't want to put anything out there that's not true. Because as we know, some people can't handle the truth. So maybe we'll have Joel in the next week or two. But my question is, Joel Davis went to Texas. Would Joel Davis come back from Texas?
Oh, it's that type of news.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, Joel Davis, the Wild West. Come on, that could be his state, his town. And if I knew he was going there, I should have asked him to pick me out cowboy boots.
Well, could have picked you up a cowboy hat. It seems to be the new trend.
Yeah, I don't really like cowboy hats.
Oh, you used to like cowboys. I don't know.
No, I like cowboy boots. I don't like cowboy hats.
Oh, okay.
You know?
You don't like any cowboys or any guys portraying cowboys? Or?
I can't train people to be cowboys.
Oh, okay.
And people who want to be cowboys, I can't train them to be pro wrestlers. So you got to pick. You're that cowboy or a wrestler.
Just making sure, just getting bigger there, you know.
Well, maybe if the person's, make it over 105 pounds.
Getting bigger and stronger and faster since that movie came out.
Yeah.
How long was that? Over 15 years?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. But getting into whatever local news you have, because it seems like you've been active more than I have. What are the local news that you have for us this week here?
Well, it's not really local news. It's stuff that I saw locally on social media that regarding Lee O'Connor's. We had Leo on the guest, great promoter of pro wrestling out of New England. He does a show up in Nashua that he brings different talent in. But I think he does it Monday or Tuesday. We've been trying to get on there, for about a year and a half?
Well, yeah, he made the invite in the beginning of the year, and we've been very bad to get up there. Leo runs Ring and All the Sports podcasts on YouTube. And yeah, I did actually saw the opening of that interview that he had posted on Facebook with the politician. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. I haven't seen it. I just know a lot of people are giving backlash towards it.
I saw the beginning of it, and I didn't finish the whole thing. But then after I tried going back to it, and Leo apologized, and he said that there was a lot more stories behind what he touched on. So he was going to remove the episode completely. So I don't know what the story behind it is. I did hear about things he had to say at a show with involving the children of two guys that are workers.
Yeah.
But I don't know details of the story. So yeah.
No, I mean I saw the stuff on social media, and we haven't talked in a couple of days after that came out. So I don't know if this is good or bad, but what's your thought, right, of trying to get, and I don't know the politician, right? I think you shared a locker room maybe once or twice for RCW, is that correct?
It was just once. It was a one-time deal.
But, with the story, and this is the part I don't like about social media, that it could be right, it could be wrong, but what's your thought about trying to get him live on the podcast, right? We have the open chat that Danny is phenomenal on putting stuff out there, right? And that we get the real story, good, bad, or indifferent, right, from him and or everybody who we're saying these things to, and clear the air so we get the story is exactly what it is.
I mean, first of all, we would have to, and again, like you said, there's an open chat. People are open to comment once they see this. The people that know the details on this, specific details, are welcome to comment and see if it's something that is interest. And we will give the open mic and, the open forum to get to the bottom of all this accusations or whatever the happenings were. Like I said, I don't know the guy. It was a one-time deal that I crossed paths with him at RCW. He was part of like a rumble that we had in the beginning. This was before that incident that he had at, I believe it was New World Wrestling that he had that incident. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. And, hopefully people will see this. Some of the people that are involved, some of the people that know the details on this, and see if there's any interest in confronting the guy and seeing his version and seeing everybody else's version.
Well, I look at it this way, right? I don't have any skin in the game, right? I haven't had any contact with any of the individuals for years, right? But I think the main thing is, what is the story? Get the truth out, good, bad, or indifferent. Whatever this, let's say he's the worst person in the world, and everything people say is actually accurate, and he's 10 times worse. We're not promoting the person's beliefs, his actions. What we're trying to do is just get the real story out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's and it was, I don't know if you contacted Leo, but it looks like Leo may stop doing shows because of the feedback people were giving him on that, which I think is a shame, because Leo, he's almost like a pro wrestling journalist, right? He's out there, he's giving interviews, he's very open. He's not promoting, the negative of what this person did. I think the fact that Leo, feels bad about putting somebody on there that he felt had a lot of negative views on people that he has either interviewed in the past or he's known. That's his right as a journalist. If he wanted to.
He said he wants to stop at episode 400, but I mean, if it's political, here's the thing with the political stuff. I mean, I'm into this stuff.
Yeah. It
doesn't matter if you support somebody from the right or left, you're going to get backlash no matter what. Yeah. So the bottom line is, here in the wrestling world, I'm Bionic Dan Badani. I'm not Republican, Democrat, anything like that. You support the person. If Leo wants to support Trump or whoever, I don't care what he's supporting, let him have his decision to support who he wants. He's not bringing it to the wrestling world. So keep that crap out of it. And he's a great talk show host.
I don't think that's the bottom of it all. I don't think it has anything to do with political views.
Yeah. The guy's wrestling persona is the politician.
Okay.
So it's not he's not getting censored because of political views. It was supposedly there's numerous. Again, I have no idea because I wasn't in any of the locker rooms. There was some numerous occasions of behavior or words that was said at numerous times, and people were very upset about it again,
or whatever. So again, we wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy personally. Only him. He could come on here and clear the air, and only those people that were there and know the situation could come on here and clear the air if that is something that is of interest. Of doing. So.
When I saw it, I just thought it just reminds me, and it's different to a degree. I remember when everything happened with Spider, and people were blasting Davey regarding that. And I remember there was something. All of a sudden, the Burning Hammer was hot at the time, and I remember I think it was Ashworth was commenting on it or Brickhouse, and I think it was 10, 15 pages of people going back and forward, but it brought a conversation up and it brought a dialogue. And I think some things came from that, and I know even after that whole situation, when we started using Davey, people were mad at us because of it. But I'm like, Davey, people don't like me just like me anyway, but I'm doing it for you. And this is slightly different to say the least, but I think the idea was, I just remember it had a conversation with the Burning Hammer, and it brought people to have a conversation. And I'm not saying anything got resolved when that happened, but people were talking and they were getting each other's viewpoints. I think that's the key point. If for some reason, we do this, it does come out. I'm hoping, there's some clarity, regarding the situation, and some days, let's be honest with it, some days you just have to admit if you were wrong, or if you were doing stuff that was shitty, and you hurt or offended people. So you just got to admit that you were wrong,
Yeah.
Or if that's just you, then you're like, hey, I'm not gonna apologize for anything. That's just me, right?
Yeah.
That's fine too.
That's coming up actually, May 28th, the anniversary of his death. Danny.
Of Spider, yeah.
I was there. I seen it right in front of my face. And Davey had. I mean, he did it was nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just a bump went wrong, and that was it. And Davey had no control. He was in midair. That's the way he was caught and all that. And So I know there's rumors going around because he was high or whatever. It had nothing to do with any of that.
But I mean, that took for years to have people have conversation.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just the idea is. I know we're going down the wrong path right now, but the idea
we're going down
is,
the wrong road. One thing doesn't have to do with the other. I mean, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, I just brought up the fact
this.
that on the Burning Hammer, which was a message board like almost 20 years ago, is that people had dialogue and they talked about it, and obviously, you know, there was heated conversation of it, but at least you talked about it. Again, maybe this is a good thing to think about too, right? We get the viewpoint. You actually hear it from that person's individual. You hear the statements of what people made. Again, they can put everything in the chat. He can address them, right? And then you can say, hey, is this a guy, you know, was he wrongfully accused or something? Or was this a guy looking for, you know, penance? Was this a guy that we should just, you know, get rid of the scene? So,
well, that's what it is. That's what people are trying to do. They're trying to blacklist him completely off the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, I interacted with the guy slightly on that beginning stage of RCW. It was like a fly-by-night thing. So I've never really had time with this dude to have an opinion. It would have to be someone that has been there when he's done certain things to clear the air here as far as getting into that whole ordeal. As far as Leo, I don't think if that's the reason he's stopping or thinking of stopping of doing the shows, I don't think he should do that. You know, he tried to give the guy an outlet because he thought it was just that one isolated incident. Yeah. And he tried giving the guy the platform to clear the air on that incident. He obviously wasn't aware there was multiple other situations. So he shouldn't be getting any backlash. No. You know, he shouldn't be the guy that has to run a background check on every wrongdoing that everybody done in the past. You know, if you're gonna go down that road, there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna have to take videos offline. There's gonna be a lot of people you're gonna have to blacklist in the business. There's gonna be a lot of people missing if you go down that road.
Well, you know, the funny part on that is not funny, haha, right? There's no background checks in independent wrestling. You know, there's no background checks, credit checks. You know, there's rumors. You know, there's stories. You know, if you see something or you see how people are, it's a little bit different. But there's not. There's nothing like that. You know, it's like I mean, every time, Danny, I didn't ask the question, but I'll ask you today. What's the update on the OTC? On the carrying permit?
Still in the appeal process.
Oh, you're killing me, right? But look at that, right? So, you know, people don't know. When you go for a carrying permit, you know, you got to go for a background check, get your fingerprints, right? When I got cleared through the SEC and FINRA, I had to go through a background check. I had to go through a credit check. When I got my LTC in Massachusetts, you had to go to the FBI. They do a background check, you know? So in pro wrestling, there's no background checks. It's literally the boys policing the boys and or the gals, or the promotions, you know, policing the promotions. There's nothing on the independent. There's no, like, union or circuit or anything like that. So, you know, it's good, bad, or indifferent. Some days, you know, pro wrestling does forgive people for doing either stupid things or being able to change. But let's find out.
Well, nowadays it's not just pro wrestling. It's in general. You know, it just takes one person to say you did something wrong, and right away you're guilty, and you find yourself defending yourself of shit that you've never done or been a part of. But in those people's minds, they already made up their mind whether it was from prior situations where they didn't like you or they just don't like you in general. So in their mind, you're guilty, you did it, you're lying, and they're going to backlash you, and they're going to want to blacklist you, and they're going to want to do certain things. I'm not saying that that's that guy's case. I'm just saying that, you know, it's been the fact, and myself included in the past, when I had my situations, you know, I have people that I've never met or people that don't know shit about me from a hole in the wall, right away, you know, throwing axe and setting up the fire, you know. So, you know, without knowing a goddamn thing that went on or any of the details or any of the proof, But that's how it is. That's the world that we live in.
Yep.
You know. But yeah, I mean, it'd be an interesting thing to get the right people involved that know the situation and have it on here and clearing the air.
Yeah, I mean, we're a great neutral platform, open platform. There's no restrictions. You know.
I think that's what Leo was trying to do. He was trying to give him an outlet to express his feelings and maybe if he had an apology or whatever, but he wasn't aware of anything else that might have happened before or currently. Yeah. So.
Well, going down the dock road, right? I know we mentioned it last week. Do you see any of the Dark Side of the Ring?
Yes, I did. I caught up on Dark Side. Yesterday I watched the episode of Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
I'm 20 minutes into it. I forgot how good Eddie Gilbert was.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the guy just had a mind for booking, coming up with ideas. He had that mentality for that type of style of wrestling that I enjoy, and unfortunately he did pass in Puerto Rico. He became the booker for Carlos Colon. Carlos brought him in as one of his booker at the time in the mid 90s. And he had I believe he had a couple weeks or a month or two down there, and he passed away in his apartment that he was living in. Mm-hmm. That's where they found him. But yeah, that's a guy that he liked the realism. He liked bringing the reality of wrestling and the believability of wrestling and the storylines that people get hooked on and believe in, and a lot of the stuff that is missing now that was Eddie Gilbert. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely good watch, good nugget for those kids that don't know certain things about the business and how certain things work. That's a good one to watch. I also watched before that one the Superstar Billy Graham Dark Side of the Ring. You watched that one?
I'm about halfway through.
Very bad, Chris Blackheart. Very bad.
I got that one. I'm probably about 30 minutes in, and I think the whole episode is 44 minutes. But talking about a guy who had everything being so insecure.
Yes.
I think that was kind of shocking to say the least.
I mean, it just watching it and just processing it and just looking at it, he was kind of like the guys that we get now that, he let one title run that came to an end determine the rest of his career. Mm-hmm. He completely got the press, and him losing that belt to Bob Backlund was the end of his career. And I don't understand why. I just don't get it.
And the thing that I thought was, he had the title for about a year. It was the plan for him to keep it for a year and then lose it to Backlund. But the houses were up. He was drawing. So I think he had a legitimate complaint when you think about it. It's like, hey.
Yeah, he did. It was a legitimate complaint. I mean, the guy, they looked at him as a transitional champion, which was a very long time to be transitional, a year run. Yeah. That's a great run. That's an overachiever run anywhere, especially nowadays. But for him to, probably not, they wasn't expecting him to get over as he did and draw the houses that he was drawing and all that stuff. And for him to do that, I mean, there's always change in the booking. So for Vince not to see that at that time, it was kind of like, the promoter, the booker's fault. But at the same time, you're not going to let the office just bury the rest of your career because you're coming in second one night.
Yeah, so I thought that was good. I'll finish in the remaining 14 minutes, but one person who doesn't get credit on these is Jericho, man. His voice throughout the whole thing, he's a great narrator.
Yeah, Jericho is a great narrator. He's been there since the beginning. And, going back to the whole story there behind it, I mean, he could have been Hogan. He could have had that Hogan run because... Yeah. They tried bringing him back, but he was so fucked up with pills, and he didn't look what he looked like in the past. He looked completely different. He kind of fucked up his own career. Yeah. He pretty much gave it away. So unfortunate that he did. I did see that him and Vince made amends before he passed,
That's a positive.
which was positive and good. But yeah, another one of those stories of a guy that made so much money, was a huge star, and he led the business. And in his case, just that one match completely broke down his career.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's funny. One match doesn't make you or break you, but so many guys, and this happens in the Indies all the time too, they get so fixed on that loss or that one match that they ruin everything and they ruin relationships over a match.
Yep.
And I mean, we're guilty of stuff, to say the least, when we were younger. And obviously, we try to educate the younger generation on, to not make mistakes. But I mean, this is at the indie level. Could you imagine being at a high level as he was?
Yep.
He should have just switched out, gone down south, go to the West Coast, go to Texas, and he would have been fine.
He would have been fine, and the plan was to bring him back. They obviously did, but he wasn't the person that he once was.
Yeah.
So later down the line, we saw Hulk Hogan come in, and Hulkamania was born.
Yeah.
So again, what if he would have kept his shoes on straight?
Yeah, you notice on the last two stories, it had to do with substance.
Yeah, majority of the stories.
Painkillers. I mean, look at the year, late 70s, 80s, even 90s.
Yeah, majority of the stories and the losses in pro wrestling has to do with some type of substance abuse, some type either psychological or physical pain, and masking the pain with drugs and alcohol is a big one. Especially when you're on the road by yourself. So, you can't judge people unless you walked on their shoes. So, it's unfortunate. We see it all the time, and it's unfortunate that it's part of the business.
Yeah.
In the Eddie Gilbert story, though, he did pass away from a condition that he had from an accident. I guess his heart wasn't working properly since his early 20s when he had a horrific car accident.
Yep.
So, it caught up to him later down the line as he got older. And I'm sure, again, using the stuff that he was using didn't help, at all.
Mm-hmm.
On top of it, but
Yeah, no. So I think hopefully guys can watch these and get smarter from them, and hopefully learn from the mistakes and not repeat them. And I think that's the good part about the business, at least nowadays. The locker rooms are different, mentality is different, and I would say one of probably the better things is the generations aren't getting taught some of these bad habits, which happened, late 90s, even going into 2000s. Some of these things that were happening, people just saw them, and then if he's doing it.
They were normal, They're just part of the routine. They were just part of the whole process.
Yeah. Did you see any of those movies on Netflix with codeine, Oxycontin?
I've seen some of them. I actually, going back to Bigger, Stronger, Faster, there was another documentary that was done by Mike Bell's brother. I forget the name of it right now, but I think it was Prescription Thugs.
Yeah,
that was the name of it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thugs. And again, he based it on the people that he knew, which was bodybuilders and pro wrestlers, and how it became a job for those individuals to get prescriptions from doctors, different doctors.
Yeah.
There was one guy, Sakota, that used to be in the WWE before, Asian descent guy, and he was taking 90 pills a day. So, yeah, the mid-2000s, it was still going strong.
Yeah, the thing that amazes me is we were in the pro wrestling business, wasn't in that circle. I didn't know that. I didn't know a lot. I mean, you heard stories of stuff going on, but I typically never directly saw it. Or directly took it.
It was just never my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I've seen. I share the locker room with a lot of guys that partake on different stuff, and it was just never my thing to do. I'm not a big pill or medicine drinker, even when I'm ill. So I'm like very iffy about taking medication. So for me, I would have been that one guy that been on the road in pain all the time, and it just dealing with it because I'm not the type to drink pills or medication. So I think it also has to, I'm not judging, but you have to have tendencies towards getting addicted to certain things, to fall onto that, because a lot of people, peer pressure. Yeah. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Going back to news and stuff like that, since you had your local news and we talked about the dark side of the ring, I did see online that Carlos Colon's not doing very hot. He's I think he's hospitalized or he's really ill. He's not doing very well. So hopefully, he kicks it into full gear. He kicks out. We've had a long year when it comes to losing people. So my prayers to him and good wishes to him and his family. I saw that this past week online. So hopefully he gets home well soon. So any other news going on?
Well, we do have. Do you want to get in the Hulk Hogan news, or you want to do some plugs?
Let's go to some plugs before we turn heel, brother.
All right, Danny. Why don't we bring up the date for Showcase? How's that? Look at that beautiful mug. And Danny, thank you for telling me the Showcase site was down for 29 minutes this week.
Yep. So it brings us to the first date, which is Saturday night in Woonsocket, for another edition of Saturday night's main event or Showcase Saturday night at the Training Center and Arena, 126 Main Street in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, 7:07 p.m. bell time. A lot of matches are going to take place that night. And I don't know if you saw La Rata, the Rat, Alex Rated, stating that he got cleared to compete this Saturday in Woonsocket. Is that guy just stupid, or he was dropped at birth? Which one is it?
Well, he could have been dropped at birth, but in all honesty, at a huge event in March, he got carved up. So he could still be having blood loss, not fully recovered.
He's stating that, I'm a crybaby. He's stating that you're asking for documents and stuff like that. What is this problem? I'm a crybaby. I'm a crybaby for what? For stating. We're going back to that road that we just talked about. Reality
speaking of
versus non-reality.
Danny, can you put the poster up there quickly? Talk about the one that I put in the pod. So this just came up on my feed. You want to bring that up, Danny?
Yep. 1 second.
What's
right.
that?
You'll appreciate this, right? It just came into my feed literally right before the show. Right? 1 year to the day. Right there. See that?
Looking at the monitor. There's a delay, so
yeah,
you gotta bear with me here. All right, I'm still behind a little bit. Oh, there it is.
1 year to the day. Look at that.
One champion, one guy that was a worthy champion, and another one that's just a rat. And Brother Moon Robin. Good picture. Brother Moon Robin.
I just thought it was ironic. It came up literally a year later, tag team champions. You look like you guys were together, doing very well. And
all I see is Don Vega and Brother Moon Robin. That other individual that looks like kind of like a critter or a rat, I don't recognize that guy.
All right. Well, just let you know, a year ago this came out. And that's the part I like about social media. It brings up some things that you would forget. So I saw that, I saved it, sent it to the messenger on the pod, and I thought that was good. Well, that being said, you never know what's going to happen, and just let you know, I'm the one who keeps asking with the paper. I want to make sure that he is properly cleared.
Apparently, you're asking for too much papers. Apparently, I'm a crybaby, and he's making. What are we? 5 years old?
I was nice. I didn't give him like a 20-day notice that he had to get it done. I said, make sure it's done 48 hours before the event, because I just want to make sure you're all right. I mean, we had the event, in Woonsocket, after my anniversary, and I'll be honest with you, it wasn't the greatest. I did question his clearance on that, right? He had the matching young Logan Macchia.
He shows up to taunting and cheap shots, sucker punch me. That's the type of guy this individual is. I'm not even going to mention his name, because right now all he's doing is posting stuff online and playing those little kid games. What are you, a little teenage girl posting your drama on social media? If you want to talk to me like a man, you show up this Saturday night and we'll find out how big of a man are you, Alex the Rata Rated. You like that? You like that nickname?
It is kind of catchy, right? To be honest with you.
It's actually catchy, right?
Yeah, I kind of catch it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I mean,
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, maybe Alex should have came up something about you, because I know people have been saying bad stuff about you on the fans regarding everything, their viewpoint of what happened.
Or whatever these scumbags, these idiots, these toolbags have to say about me.
No, but I haven't heard anything. I got to ask Saj. I mean, Saj is out there more often. Maybe I was ringing out for Frank. He's out there sitting with the people.
Well, Saj just needs to stay home. He needs to, tie himself up to that recliner chair and mind his business, because I already put him in warning. And, I would hate to have all Sarge. I would hate something bad to happen all Sarge. Let's just leave it.
No, I mean, Sarge is doing well. I mean, Sarge is doing well. But that being said, obviously, that's the flyer up there for Woonsocket. Caution tape. I'm not sure who did that poster, but I think, I know our graphics and event department. I'm not sure. Look at caution tape.
Yeah,
I'm questioning.
It was done by AI, because Blackheart, just like every other graphic that's on television right now.
All right.
Newsflash: majority of graphics done by AI. Just saying.
So the next event after that, we have Friday, May 9th. We are back in Taunton. That is a Friday night, 7:47. Matches we will announce coming up, figured on this coming Thursday. Going in, all those tickets are online right there at showcasepreston.com. Advanced tickets are always recommended. Doors open 50 minutes before. All general seating. Sit anywhere you want, front, back, it doesn't matter. All one ticket price. And the following week, we go on the 17th. We are in Franklin. That is a special event for the Special Olympics. Again, all the tickets on there. Everything is online. We do recommend, especially in Franklin, I would recommend getting them online, because this will be, I believe, our 6th event we're going into. The past 5 were close to a sellout. We literally had like 4 or 5 seats left, which is phenomenal. But yeah, it's obviously the Special Olympics. When we team up with the Elks, between showcasing the Elks, we work on a charity or an organization, try to raise funds for, and the Elks came up with Special Olympics. So that is a great time. It's gonna be that night. I love Franklin for the fact that these things don't work in there. It's awesome, right?
Yep.
So people have to watch the event. The thing I don't like about it is right when I hit 495 driving back, my phone blows up for 9 hours of messages. That's one part.
We might have to bring March Anniversary to Franklin.
Well, you never know, man. Franklin's been hot. I mean, Taunton's been our home for, I'm terrible with math now. What have we been there? 12 years, maybe 13 years at the VFW holding it. So, Taunton has always has been a stronghold for us. But Franklin has been selling out. So, again, we do enjoy our partnerships. We are always out there looking for more partnerships. got some projects that we're working on that hopefully be announcing down the line. Some summer shows we'll be announcing probably about in June, just when the graphics department or the AI department will get everything all set.
I'll type it on the phone and find out if that's going to be possible for the June dates. But going back to the 9th in Taunton, we did have a match signed, unfortunately, against Sarge. I don't know what the hell's his problem.
Oh, yeah. See,
They signed that tag team.
I didn't check my AI.
He did sign that tag team match with Rambo, the heavyweight champion here at Showcase, and myself to team up and wrestle against the real crybabies running around, Alex Rated, and the big-time loser, Matt Thompson.
I forgot about that. I slipped on
Come
that.
up with great nicknames for these guys.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they're actually not that bad. Danny, do you
The
like it?
big-time loser.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because they're not defending the championships. So I'll be there every show defending my championship as long as I can. Workhorse champion.
I may have something. I may have somebody for you. We have a booking comedian coming up this weekend. I may have somebody for you, and I have a great story to tell behind it.
This is what I'm talking about. See?
No.
It was on that. It was on the Eddie Gilbert podcast. Dark Side.
What?
Booking committees do not work, Chris Blackheart.
You're right, but we have one, and we have a 3-person panel that I think we do pretty well.
Well, you know,
Well, I think
things
when
can
it's-
happen to people in the panel.
When the time is right, you're gonna see 2 championships on the show. Down Vega with the Patriot or whatever the championship, and me with this YouTube championship.
This is why I like Dan Bedondi. He's a smart individual.
Yep. And rightfully so, he should have had it at Macho Wrestling.
Even though you still, Danny, you're still catering to those fans. I don't know why, but you are a smart individual.
Yeah, I love the fans, especially the kids, especially this fundraising for the Special Olympics, man. And
I'm
definitely
telling you,
part
they're
of that.
shady, bro. You're gonna realize it sooner than later.
Yeah.
Shady characters, and they stink. Yep.
All right. Well, that being said, those are the upcoming shows for. Actually, what about shoot the shows for RCW at the end of the month?
Yes. May 30th, RCW makes their debut in New Hampshire. I don't have the information. I'll be getting that information next week here on the podcast. But it's there it is. Cold Case Friday night, May 30th, 2025, at the Vanguard in New Hampshire, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The debut of RCW Cold Case with Victor Benjamin in the main event, and all the stars of RCW Wrestling. You could go to rcwlive.com for all the information for tickets. I believe front row tickets were sold out, but there are still some tickets available. Go to rcwlive.com and RCW Live on all social media to find out all the information on Cold Case on Friday night, May 30th, 7 p.m. bell time.
Pretty good. All right.
You have it on that?
No, I am not driving on a Friday night up to Portsmouth. That I know.
You love New Hampshire, Chris Blacker. You love Maine.
I haven't been up to Maine in ages, to say the least, and I would not go there on a Friday.
Chris Blacker, you're due for a trip because you were limited on the national holiday. You were limited on WrestleMania weekend.
That is true. That is true due to the
are due for our boys' trip out
on a Friday. Huh.
So I'm just putting it out there. You get out of work, you might get picked up. We might continue the road trip. I don't know.
All right. Well,
we might be able to have some cold drinks because I'll be the designated driver. I'll be the Triple H to your Shawn Michaels and to your Diesel Razor. Just saying.
All right. So now I may have to re-entertain it, but normally on a Friday that is terrible.
Yeah, sounds good.
I drive up to Boston every day now, and I hate the traffic. I don't understand. Traffic at 6:50 in the morning. It's terrible.
Screw that.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Getting picked up, you're halfway there. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't understand it. Well, that being said, let's go on some national news. Breaking news over the weekend. Hulk Hogan. Did you have the clip from the original clip, Danny, from the NWO clip that they did? It was about 2 minutes.
No, just a TMZ.
Yes, he does, brother. Go find it.
Just a TMZ interview with him.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but so basically, there was a clip that went around throughout the weekend. It was an NWO style that Hogan had this big announcement, him and Bischoff, and it was good. I mean, did you see it, Mr. Vega?
Yes, I did. Him and Izzy E, as they used to call him, the NWO. You know, from when I saw it the first time, I thought they were filming some type of teaser pilot so that, you know, maybe they could see it.
Oh, I think Danny has it. Do you want to play it, Danny? Show the people.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are launching a promotion.
Nope,
brother.
that's not it.
Plus AEW. Look.
Got excited there for nothing. If you go to Hogan's page, whether it's his Twitter or X account or his Instagram, he's got it posted up there. But when I first seen it, going back to what I was saying, when I first saw it, I thought it was some kind of pilot, kind of like a teaser, so that the higher ups in that small company in Connecticut would see it and, you know, maybe kind of see something there. Who knows? That's what I thought. Then, you know, other thoughts was the third guy could have been Vince, you know.
I did. I thought of that.
You know, we were talking about it. Doctor that you enjoy and I were talking about it, and he did mention,
Look, Danny, look at the date. When did that video drop? On over the weekend?
I think it was
Or was it Monday? I think I saw it on Monday.
I think it was Monday. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Monday, Danny. Look at Hogan's account. Look at something that dropped on Monday.
Yeah.
Don, you should be able to see it in a second here. Just tell me which one it is.
If not, we just have to do play by play because great teaser.
While Danny finds the clip, you know, here's my thoughts on the whole scenario, right? So, you know, there's people that thought it could have been Vince. There's people I thought, you know, pilot, trailer, whatever, for The Office to see. I also did thought about this a while back, you know, kind of like a temporary re-engagement of kind of like an NWO style group. Yeah. Where Hogan is the leader. He doesn't have to physically wrestle. He comes out to the ring in a motorcycle. Remember that conversation we had, Chris Blackheart? Because he is hobbling around to get around. But if you put him on a bike.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Danny has it. You want to play the clip?
Play it. We'll get back to it.
Yeah. It's about 2 minutes.
It's time, Hulk. I double dare you. We've been telling you about our third man, and today is the day. 9-time state high school champion, the coach of 8 UFC champions. This man knows it all, has done it all, and I can't wait.
You know, we told you we were strapped. We told you we were Jack Boomba. But when I said we were stacked, I mean, we're ready to roll, bro. We're backed up after backed up. Here's a couple for the weekend, brother. What do you call this thing here? The monster, the master of disaster, the man that rules the world of wrestling? I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy.
You've seen what these two have done before. We got the cash, we got the talent, and we got real American freestyle wrestling.
And we got our third man, Jack. You know, people are gonna tremble. People are gonna get scared because Eric me, knows how to beat everybody. Izzy Mania is gonna run wild on the whole world of wrestling. And now that we stepped our game up and we're now in the world of professional freestyle wrestling, all I have to say is welcome to the black and blue. Welcome to the black and blue of freestyle professional wrestling. You're gonna get paid to beat people up. You're gonna get paid to win. You're gonna get paid to make them scream. So roll out the red carpet. I don't want super. I want mega stars. So I have to say, what you gonna do
When real American freestyle comes for you.
All right, what do you think?
Yeah, that was actually the second video where he unveiled his third guy, which ended up being Izzy Martinez. And they announced that they will be going into real American freestyle wrestling, and they've been all over different television shows and all over social media and or whatnot. Before we get into the whole real American freestyle wrestling, as I was saying, me and you have talked about it before. Hogan, he hobbles a little bit due to his 20 surgeries or however many surgeries he's had. But I wouldn't mind seeing Hulk in one last role, especially, this type of deal since he's getting booed anyways. Him kind of re-engaging a similar style group, NWO, and John Cena being the active wrestler on that group under the guidance of Eric and Hogan. And, the whole deal with Cena being the last real champion. I wouldn't mind seeing a group like that for a short stint. That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But, now we're here, real American freestyle wrestling. Your thoughts?
Well, what I read on the press release is it is freestyle wrestling. Yep. And what they want to do is kind of do a cross between WWE, UFC, with the video packages, the promos, getting people to know people or to know to like them or dislike them.
Well, basically, we're going to go back to the beginning of the UFC.
Yeah. The only thing I was talking to Danny at the beginning of it, I think the biggest problem, and a lot of times people do not value the athleticism of freestyle wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest problem. I don't think it has the spice to keep people engaged.
Yeah, because it's boring, but you have to throw that entertainment value into it.
Yeah, and I think that maybe that could be the hook. They have to learn how to spice it, and maybe Hogan's the right deal. I mean, promo wise, that he just went back almost 25 years on that promo.
20 years. Like I said, in my opinion, I think it's a wasted momentum that could have been used for the current product in that small company in Connecticut. But what do we know? I'm sure Hogan's getting some big money behind this. So good for him. We've seen him do this before with like American Gladiators, that relaunch that they had. Yeah. And we'll find out what's this thing gonna look like. The way you describe it, it just looks like the old school Japanese wrestling when they had the shoot style. I forgot what they used to call it, but they had the shoot style.
Like Pride?
It was before Pride, and they had obviously Camp Shamrock. They had Nunzio used to be a part of that. Yeah. They had a lot of the Japanese wrestlers involved in it. What's the other guy there? Bald-headed guy was world champion at one time. Legit guy. I forget his name. He was in that movie with the guy that plays Kings and Queens, the husky guy. I forget his name. He's from Boston, I think.
Oh,
James.
Yeah, that's James.
Is it Kevin James?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, he was in a movie with him that he was a teacher, a music teacher, and he ended up doing MMA.
Yep.
Oh, Bass Rutten.
Yes.
Bass Rutten
Yep.
was a part of that league that I'm talking about.
Yep.
And it was pro wrestling mixed with catch, and it was supposed to be like shoot style.
Yep.
That's what this is reminding me of. I don't know the details, but you know.
You guys remember? I think where Hogan's getting this from, because back in it was a short-lived series in 2005. They started a league called Real Pro Wrestling. It was high school and college students in the collegiate wrestling, and they tried to make it into a TV series, and it didn't like really fly too well.
Yeah.
Could be a combination of all that. Yeah. I mean, it's different times, different audiences.
Yeah.
We'll find out if that takes off or if it's just, you know, another project for Hogan to make some money. And, you know, like I said, good for him. Oh, there it is. Yep. Pull it up. Yeah. Okay.
It was only one
I'll have
season.
to go on YouTube and check one of those episodes out. Real Pro Wrestling.
Well, I want to. It'd be interesting to find out how they set up, because like when the Ultimate Fighter started, I think I watched like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really good. So if they do something like that, they may hook some people.
Yeah, they have to give the outside feel of stuff. They have to get type of behind the scenes look, because that's what interests a lot of people nowadays. The behind the scenes stuff. How is it made? The secret behind of something. That's something that sells nowadays. So, we'll see. We'll find out. I was kind of a little disappointed when I didn't see Vince or John Cena.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought it'd be a great different type of NWO deal going on in the 2025s.
So talk about the real deal and going into training. Emails are coming, man. This week we had a lot of inquiries regarding the Showcase for Wrestling Training Center, and what I told everybody, you got to go down there. You know, we had a couple of people come down last night, a couple of inquiries this week. Everybody reach out to me. Monday night, come down.
Yeah,
So
big
you're
class.
saying they went and checked out the place,
Yeah.
but no one has committed.
No, and you know, it's not laughing, haha. It's like everybody comes down, they have 1,000 questions until they sit down in the seat and we have the conversation, and then they forget everything.
Yeah.
You know, and then we had him talk to a couple of the newer guys. We had him talk to one of your good friends, Mr. Michelson, the young people that came down, and those people are listening. Everyone set out inquiries this week. Just get down there and do it. You will not regret it. It's the best thing you can ever do for yourself, especially like with some of the young people. Like, I don't want to regret it when I'm older. Guess what? That means you got to do it now. You know?
Yeah.
Don't let life get in the way to start. Just do it.
If you want it, you got to go get it. Nobody's going to put in the work for you. You got to do it yourself.
Yep.
So.
And another thing I've been telling people lately, it's get used to being uncomfortable, right? Because that means you're learning and you're growing, right?
That's a big part of the game.
Yeah, and the game of life too. You know, if you're comfortable, you're not growing, right? There's nothing wrong with being good at something, but even to be good at something, get better at it. And that's what we do at the Showcase for Wrestling Training Center. We make people better. You can be good today, tomorrow you're going to be better, and the next day you're going to be better. And guess what? You're going to be learning, you're going to be growing, and it shows. I mean, one of the things we had the people watch, I told them to put together is watch your footage from a year ago or when you first started and see how you grow. Because a lot of times you don't see it until you actually can reflect on it and see it. You know, so hopefully the people that we told that, some of the newer people, hopefully they get back to me on Monday with, the positives.
It seems like a broken record, because a couple of weeks back I had the same conversation about watching footage and comparing that footage to other people that have been successful, and compare that footage to people in the independents, compare that footage to people on a national scale, and it seems to be the same broken record. So
yeah, one of the ones that I always remember is Kurt Hennig. I remember Kurt Hennig getting destroyed by Ray the Crippler Stevenson outside. Yeah. I think he got power driven like 3 or 4 times, and then he went to the AWA probably like 2 or 3 years later, and then he went back to WWE 3 or 4 years later. So like I think it was 9 years later, he's Mr. Perfect, you know. But he started somewhere, and he grew and he learned. So
I mean, a lot of these kids, you know, it's a shame that they don't know who Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig is. So a lot, you'd be surprised how many don't. If you want to take it to a newer level, go watch some old YouTube videos of Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
When they were getting the shit kicked out of them, they actually sneaked in at 17 and got dark matches and got job matches on TV. And those guys are night and day from where you see them, even as they develop as enhancement guys, when they went and actually got matching gear and they started looking like something, you could see it. You could see the transformation.
Yeah.
So, you know, once I saw, I don't know if you remember when they had the tassels and you know, the matching gear with the fucking retro letters. I'm like, oh, these guys look like something now, you know, the Hardy Boys. You're like, what the fuck is the Hardy Boys? But they look like something. Yeah. And, you know, here we are, you know, 30 years later almost. And then, you know, they're one of the most decorated tag teams and individual wrestlers in the business. So, you know, they had to start somewhere and they had to look questionable at times. And if you go back and actually watch Matt, his footwork was horrible and he was taking shitty bumps in some of those matches. So, you know, have to do the homework, have to do the research.
Well, that being said, I think it's that time.
It's that time already, Chris Blackheart?
Yeah, it is.
Wow, it flew by pretty quickly here tonight, huh? So, you know, all that's left is for this Saturday night in Woonsocket, 126 Main Street at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Arena and Training Center. Tickets are still available online or at the door for this Saturday night, 7:07 p.m. bell time in Woonsocket. You know, and then the following week we're in Taunton BFW. We'll be back here on Thursday night before that event. But for now, that's all we have for this week. For Dan Bedandi with the YouTube belt over there hanging out. I didn't see him. I didn't get to see him on the screen. For Chris Blackheart, that looks like he's bored playing with his pen. And for Don Vega, we'll see you right back here next week in the Showcase Pod.